Okay, quick, before Capcom cancels the video. Review! At long last, a proper toy, a proper action figure of Mega Man Volnutt, otherwise known as Rockman Dash. Not a model kit, not a minifigure, an actual honest-to-God action figure by Sentinel in their 4inchnel line, which does make this a 4-inch action figure, which means the scale is a little bit weird. It's not going to look really comfortable with your Marvel Legends, but hey, it's at least something now, isn't it? It's better than what he's had in the past. So right off the bat, I guess we can look at the head design immediately, and yep, that is very much Mega Man Volnutt, done up in more closer to his artwork style, his promotional art, rather than, I was thinking to myself, like, it'd be hysterical if this was actually done like his PlayStation model, considering he hasn't ever had any kind of anime or CG model to look like this. Now that I think of it, he was in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, so actually, yes, he has had a digital model that looks like this. So, yay, it's a Tatsunoko vs. Capcom figure, if you want to go that far. So, looking him over, he does look pretty good as far as proportions go. Similar to, like, being closer to his anime-ish artwork, his proportions are a little bit strange. His body is very skinny, very svelte, but he's backed up by these very long legs, and that is, for the most part, accurate to how his design works. It's a little bit of a different art style in this series than your typical Mega Man. He is done up in the traditional blue and light blue. You get gray accents here and there, as well as a little bit of black. I like the accents because, along with some of the sculpting, they give it the look of being machined together. It's not just smooth armor. It looks like big bolts that have attached his shoulder armor to him. You get a little bit of gray there for the elbows, and you can see some intricate paint work there on the hand, getting in a lot of detail along the palm and the wrists. Very, very nice. A little bit more gray exposed for the hips, as well as some extra. It's actually not quite the same shade of blue for the knees. Got 3 shades going on here, I guess. And yeah, big flat feet. Even the bottom is sculpted and painted up correctly. I never see the bottom of his feet in these games. So, very, very good job detailing the toy all the way around. The one drawback I find is here on the back side, he has this blank panel thing going on. I kind of wish there was something to plug in there so I could have his backpack from the second game. That's about the only drawback I could have to his physical design, but that is very much a minor one. Now, for Sentinel, the devil is in the details, and that means articulation. Now, this line has so far let me down as far as the engineering goes. I have ended up with figures that couldn't keep their arms connected. I have ended up with figures with loose or impossible to work joints. Well, I'm happy to say this seems to be the one where they finally get it right. For starters, his head does have an actual rotation that works and actually looks much more natural. Most of these have had this weird angular neck thing, and this one has it too, but it's not nearly as extreme. So here, not only do you have a little bit of play in the neck so you can adjust the head, but he also has a more natural look left and look right, which the others in this line did not seem to have, or at the very least my Mega Man and my Mega Man EXE did not. You have a full ball joint at the shoulder, which doesn't quite work. Well, universal joint, I should say. I wish it went out a little bit more. Does not quite. The cut ends right there, so you only get so much range out of it. Full working bicep, though. You also have an interesting trick with the elbow. You have one elbow joint there, and then you have another one that's built into the forearm to slide in there, so you can determine how you want the elbow to look for different poses, or get a double elbow out of it. This is really, really good. If we look toward the back, you can also see there is a faux piece here in the back to fill in the elbow so you don't have a big gap exposed there. That's 4inchnel style engineering. That's why Sentinel is known for action figures. See, in the waist we have 2 ball joints, one at the top and one at the bottom. Plenty of rotation. Well, enough rotation to be satisfying, but plenty of wiggle room. Oh, I should say, yeah, wrists also ball jointed, so they move independently of their own. They rotate, they bend, so you have that as well. You also have full ball joints at the hips, which have a good range of motion to them. Nothing as far as the thigh swivel goes until we get down here. It's just above the knee. The knee itself does a similar trick to the elbow where it caves in as well as bending there in the gray. So you have a double knee as well, and just like that, there is a fake piece to prevent any kind of gappage. That's excellent. I love that. And then you have the ankle, which rotates on a ball joint and does tilt around itself. Not quite as much as I would like it to, but enough for some poses, so that's what we can deal with. It's not the worst, but this is a far better example of what Sentinel can do. It's got a lot of their tropes, it's got a lot of their advantages, but it doesn't have any of the missteps to it. You know, it seems like everything, or lessons learned from the previous Mega Man releases, they finally got this one right. And probably a good thing. Mega Man Legends fans are kind of getting accustomed to being disappointed, and they still are not happy about it. So you really wouldn't want to upset them again. If any one of them was going to get it right, this had to be the one. So what about part swapping? So let's see what else we can do. Well, for starters, the hands come off on the ball joints with a little bit of snap there. And from there, we can go ahead and attach a new set of splay or relaxed hands. I was going to say splayed, but the fingers are actually still close together. And this is the frustrating part because it's a ball joint with a stem, and you have to get the hand onto the stem while the ball joint's wiggling around, and that does make it a wee bit difficult. So bear with me. I am trying to demonstrate what this is like. And you can see what it is like is frustrating. Okay, about as good as I'm going to get, and thankfully I'm not too concerned about the left hand right now. You'll see why here in a minute. So yeah, you can have a more relaxed look with him. That kind of goes with the non-helmeted look, I think. Which does bring me to the next thing we can swap in, which is the new head. He also has a helmeted head, so you can replicate his probably the look you're more used to in the games, because, yeah, you probably kept the helmet on the whole time, didn't you? I know I did. So, there we go. Now he looks like a proper Mega Man, helmet and all. Traditional red ears, traditional shape with the mohawk leading up to that big square in the center. He still has that kind of like, almost look like it has a blast shield to fold down kind of look to it. Now here's the weird thing about this figure. Just like the others, the heads are designed with the same style of engineering, which means you can actually swap the faces by dismantling the heads, either the helmet on him or the hair on him. The problem with this is the faces are nearly identical. In fact, I would argue to say they are identical. This was a big missed opportunity. I would have loved to have seen a more serious face and a more relaxed face here, so I had some facial options here. It seems like a really big waste. I mean, especially when all you had to do was, you know, sculpt a different expression onto the second face. It's bizarre that they didn't go through that. But, oh well. At least you have the two different head designs, so that is a good plus. And for one more, we can go ahead and remove the left forearm entirely and swap in his Buster Gun. Now, this, again, has the same style of engineering, and I feel like this is a far better solution than like EXE had for his swapping, where it was done below the elbow and didn't really work. So they seem to have smartened up. It's above the elbow and the bicep peg. It works just like his other arm. All the same engineering is there, right down to filling in gaps and such. And his Buster arm is, you know, about as well detailed as you would expect. His Buster arm always felt a little bit puny to me compared to the others, but he's a very thin design considering he's Mega Man. The only real downside I have to him is I wish there was a little bit more play in his ankles. While you can get him into some decent action poses, he does kind of end up on the short end of things sometimes because his big feet are so rounded that it's kind of hard to get him into some balanced poses without a little bit more play in the ankles. So unfortunately, he's a little bit limited in that. Everything else, though, I'm quite happy with. It seems like Sentinel learned their lesson and they're finally producing some decent Mega Man figures, which does have me looking forward to the Star Force figure coming out, even though I'm not really big on Star Force. I just know that if it's anything like this, it's going to turn out a lot better than 4-inch Mega Mans have in the past. Now, if only they could go back and redo some of the others like this, and no, maybe I'd have a higher opinion of the line overall.